Hi, I'm Claire from Inspiratrix Yoga. This session today is quite a subtle one about breathing deeply, so deeply that it helps you to let go of tension in your shoulders and around your hips, and various moves, often quite simple, quite small movements to help let go of the tension that you might be carrying here or around your pelvic floor. Props wise today, you'll need some things you can sit on that you can kneel on. So you might need a couple of blocks or some cushions or even a yoga bolster if you have something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Start lying down on your back on the floor with your knees bent and your hands on your belly, just connecting to your breath as it moves through your belly. So keeping your hands on your belly, I want you to feel for expanding your breath quite widely through your whole torso. So as you breathe in, it's like you fill up with air from your pelvis, through your belly, through your ribs, right up to the top of your shoulders, filling up with air. And then as you exhale, you're emptying out the air from your shoulders, your ribs, your belly, your pelvis, emptying. So inhaling and filling up. Exhaling, emptying out your breath. Pulling in your belly gently at the end of your exhale to help you exhale as completely as you can. Slow, deep breaths. Connecting in awareness with your whole torso from your hips, through your belly, your rib cage, up to your shoulders. And then back down from your shoulders, your ribs, your belly, your pelvis. And I want you to notice the edges, the corners. Notice how your hips feel. Notice how your shoulders feel as your breath comes and goes. Have a sense of your breath washing through you like waves, washing away any tension in your hips and shoulders. Great, now let's focus on lower back. We'll do cat exercise 1. Now with this, as you inhale, you arch your lower back away from the floor. As you exhale, you relax your lower back down and it releases towards the floor. So as you inhale, lower back arches, your hips and your shoulders stay on the floor. As you exhale, your lower back relaxes and naturally drops towards the floor. Do that a few more times really slowly. Releasing tension from your lower back as you do this. So with every deep breath, you're helping yourself to let go of tension. And connect to your body in a good way. After that round, just pause. Take your hands onto your belly. Coming back to that sense of breathing really fully into your entire torso. And then emptying out slowly and completely. Bring your awareness to your pelvic floor here, and as you breathe in, have a subtle sense of your pelvic floor relaxing and moving outwards. And then as you exhale, I want you to subtly draw up your pelvic floor and then relax your pelvic floor. So inhale, pelvic floor is relaxed. Perhaps it moves outwards. Exhale, lightly draw your pelvic floor up and in. And then relax it. Do that a couple more times. Now we'll do half bridge lifts with a prop. So for this you'll need a wide yoga block or a cushion, something like that. Place it in between your thighs. And then set up your feet for bridge. So you want your feet so they're kind of parallel, so not super wide, not together, not pointing out, not pointing in, but have your feet parallel, kind of lined up with your knees. Shoulders and arms just relaxed evenly on the floor. Inhale, let your pelvic floor relax. Exhale, squeeze your thighs onto the block. Curl your tailbone up. Lift your hips. And if you're enjoying connecting to your pelvic floor, feel for subtly drawing your pelvic floor in. Inhale and slowly release all of that as you come back smoothly down to the floor. And then exhale, lightly squeeze your block, draw your pelvic floor in, lift your hips a couple of inches off the ground. Inhale, slowly releasing to come down. And make sure you get to a point where you're just totally released on the floor, totally relaxed. And then on your next exhale, engaging and lifting. Doing a few of these really slowly. Then after that round, pause, remove your prop. Rest your hands on your lower belly. Feel your breath come and your breath go. Now I want you to find the bony bits at the front of your hips. Like these bony bits at the front of your hips, kind of like here, like the kind of the front of the hips, the front upper hip bones, which are known as the anterior superior iliac spine, the ASIS. We'll just call them the like front hip bones. And you'll stay on your back with this, but we'll practice a breathing exercise which is about trying to pull these two hip bones towards each other. So there's a subtle kind of narrowing that happens between these two hip bones, where really you're drawing the transverse abdominis sort of together, slightly tightening the muscles, the lower sort of front of the belly in a way where it's like moving towards the center. So if you have your maybe the heels of your hands resting over the front of the hip bones. Again, it's probably easiest with the knees bent, but you could try with your legs straight. Okay, great. Inhale, totally relax your belly and your pelvic floor. Exhale and subtly draw your front hip bones together. As you do this, this might pull your hands in towards each other. You might find your lower back flattens a little bit as well, but you're focusing on the lower belly muscles. Inhale, release that. Exhale, draw both halves of your belly towards the midline. Inhale, releasing that. Do that 2 more times. Gathering your lower belly in. Okay, great. Now bring your hands so they're next to your hips on the floor with your thumbs pointing up. We'll be doing the same thing with the belly, but also moving the arms. And I want you to stay really connected to your belly. So you'll only move your arms as far as it feels like you're really strong in your core. Inhale, let everything relax. Exhale, engage your lower belly. Subtly narrow your front hips, and as you do this, bring your arms up towards the vertical. Inhale, slowly releasing. And your hands come down to the floor, releasing in your belly. So on exhale, you're gathering your belly in, lifting your arms. You can also subtly pull your pelvic floor in here too. Inhale, slowly releasing. So you're not dropping down, really slowly, bit by bit releasing as you inhale. Great, do that 2 more times. You could take your arms a bit further if that feels if you still feel that really strong connection to your core. After that round, just pausing, resting your hands on your belly. Feeling into the subtlety of connection that you have to your own hips, to your own pelvis. Okay, let's do some glute activators now. If you have your, so both legs bent, right leg on the bottom, and then cross your left leg over the top. Then take your right hand onto your sitting bones. So kind of like top of your thigh, base of your buttock on the right hand side. Great. Inhale. Your belly is relaxed, your pelvic floor is relaxed. Exhale, press your right heel down into the floor. As you do that, your pelvis tilts up a little bit. Feel the right lower buttock muscle engage. Inhale, slowly release all of that. Come to a point where you are totally released. Exhale, same thing. Press your right foot down strongly. Feel your right lower buttock muscle switch on and engage. It's all about getting this, like this area to work. It's kind of lower buttock, top of the back of your right thigh. Inhale, slow release. So you're not just flopping out of that again. It's like slow, conscious releasing of that action. Great. Do 3 more on this side. Slowly, both on the activation and the deactivation. Making this movement as smooth as you can. That is more, it's not a massive movement, it's quite a subtle movement. Waking up your sleepy butt if you have been sitting on your buttocks all day. After that round, switch over to the other side. So right leg's crossed over left. Put your left hand onto your left lower buttock and same thing. Inhaling and releasing and relaxing. Exhaling, pressing your left foot into the floor, particularly the heel. Consciously switching on your left lower buttock and sort of top of the back of your thigh muscles. Inhale, slowly deactivating and releasing. Great, do 4 more. Great. After that round, uncross your leg and wiggle your hips on the floor. Okay, now bring both knees into your chest and then straighten both legs up in the air. If they don't go straight, they could be a bit bent. That's fine. Have your heels over your hips rather than your legs going forward. So kind of bring your feet in so they're over your hips. Great. Let's just hang out here, feet kind of active. Inhaling and filling your torso with air. Exhaling, emptying out all the air. reaching up through your inner thighs as well as your outer legs. Okay, bend your knees, bring your feet down to the floor and wiggle your hips. Let's do a like a lying down twist. So you do this like either with your arms going past your head, or take your arms a bit wider so they can rest on the floor. So kind of have your arms on the floor. And then let's just take your legs to the right and hang out here. Knees twisted over to the right. Breathe so deep that you're aware of your hips and your shoulders. Bringing breath and space to those areas. Then bring your knees back to the middle and then take them over to the left. Each inhale, filling your whole torso. Emptying each exhale as completely as you can. Okay, then roll yourself all the way over onto one side. Slowly sit yourself up. And next, let's do a few things for our shoulders. I quite like to do this from a kneeling position. So if you've got something like a block that you could put underneath your sitting bones, that might work quite well. Or you might need to stack several blocks or cushions on top of each other. Or if you've got something like a bolster, bolsters kind of are great as well for sitting on. So you kind of, your sitting bones are on something. So there's not like loads of pressure on your knees. So kind of find something and stack it up underneath you. Great. The higher the better. You don't want to feel like there's any pressure in your knees. Alternatively, you could do this sitting in a chair if this still feels uncomfortable, or if you've got nothing that you could sit on. Sit on a chair or even the edge of a bed, something like that would be fine. All right, now I want your arms to be really dangly for this one. You're going to inhale and internally rotate your arms. So you're shortening at the front of your chest, internally rotating your arms so they come in. Exhale, slow release of that as your arms come back to neutral. So inhale, internally rotate your arms. It's like rolling in like rolling pins, like the front of your chest is subtly shortening. Exhale, release slowly. So not a fast release, again, a slow decontraction. Do 3 more, super slowly. Now we'll do the opposite. So you'll inhale and externally rotate your arms, contracting. You're kind of contracting at the back around your shoulder blades, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Exhale, releasing back to neutral. So inhale, externally rotating your arms. Kind of this action's really happening through stuff that's smooth, through engaging the muscles in your upper back around your shoulder blades. Exhale, slow release. Do 3 more. Great. Now let's do a twist. I'll show this from the side. So let's say take your right hand onto your left knee, and then your left arm is going behind. So right hand on your left knee, left arm is going behind. You might be able to tuck your hand into your arm, or just have your arm wrapped behind your back. So you're in a twist with your spine straight. So inhale, spine is really long and straight. Exhale, subtly moving into this twist. So your rib cage is rotating to the left. Feel for staying even through your sitting bones. Notice if your head is going forwards, just take the back of your skull back so your head is balanced atop the rest of your spine. Okay, inhale, turn to the front. Exhale, go the other way. Take your left hand onto your right knee. Right arm is going behind. Rib cage is rotating into this twist. Inhale, filling up with air. Exhaling, emptying out all the air slowly. Okay, unwind from there. Let's do one more thing from this position. Where we'll kind of breathe in a way where it's about connecting to different parts of your pelvic floor. Great. So if you inhale, send your breath to your pelvic floor. Exhale, subtly draw your pelvic floor in. And then relax your pelvic floor again. So you're like doing one pulse on the exhale. Do that again 2 more times. Okay, let's try and be fancy now. You'll inhale and particularly notice the back of your pelvic floor towards your anus. Exhale, now contract the back of your pelvic floor, maybe around your anus. Gather that area in and then relax. Let's do that a couple more times, focusing on back of the pelvic floor. So inhale, noticing the back of your pelvic floor, releasing the back of your pelvic floor. Exhale, gathering in and then releasing. One more breath, focusing on back of pelvic floor. Now focus on the middle of your pelvic floor. So around where your urethra is, around where your vagina is if you're a woman. So inhale, relax the middle of your pelvic floor. Exhale, gather your pelvic floor in and up. And then relax. So 2 more, focusing on the middle of your pelvic floor. Okay, now focus on the front of your pelvic floor. Inhale, relax the front of your pelvic floor. Exhale, gather the front of your pelvic floor in and then slowly release. Do that 2 more times. Okay, great. Let's change leg positions now. So if, let's do something like this, where you've got your right leg straight and your left leg crossed over the top. You could sit on a block or cushion if you want to, or sit on the floor. And I'm going to do something for kind of hands and wrists and a bit more shoulders. So let's say take your left hand with the palm facing forwards, and we'll do some wrist stretches. Inhale, hold onto the little finger with the other hand. Exhale and lightly stretch your little finger back. Do that with your arms straight, hand a little bit lower than your shoulder. Inhale, hold onto ring finger. Exhale, stretching your ring finger back. Stretching into your finger, your hand, your wrist. Inhale, hold the middle finger, just the middle finger. Exhale, stretching your middle finger back. Inhale, hold on to your index finger. Exhale and stretch your index finger back. Stretch your thumb and your little finger out to the side at the same time. Inhale, hold on to your thumb. Pull your thumb to the side. Exhale, stretch your thumb back. At the same time, you're also stretching out all the rest of your fingers. Great. We'll do some stretches to the side now. Inhale, stretch your hands to the side, palms facing sideways. Exhale, make your hands into fists and tilt your knuckles down towards the floor. Inhale, stretch your hands out, palms are facing forwards. Exhale, bring your thumb in the middle, wrap your fingers around your thumb, and then tilt your knuckles to the side. Great, release your wrists, change your legs over the other way. And let's do the other hand now. So your right hand. Take one full inhale and one full exhale, stretching each finger in turn. Feeling your fingers, your hands, your wrists. Once you've done that, we'll do those stretches to the side. So inhale, palms face sideways first. Exhale, turn your hands into fists and tilt down. Inhale, stretch your hands out, palms facing forwards. Exhale, turn your hands into fists and then tilting sideways. Okay, release your arms, uncross your leg, and now come into a cross-legged position with your left shin in front of your right shin. Let me give you 3 options here. You could sit cross-legged, or you could put a block underneath that front foot, your right foot, for a bit more stretch in your hips. Or if it feels okay in your hips and knees, come into shoelace with your left foot with your left foot on top of your right knee, depending on kind of which option feels like where you want to work today. Okay, great. Then take your left elbow up in front of your left shoulder. Inhale and bring your right hand to the inside of your elbow. Exhale, push your hand and your elbow together. Inhale and bring your awareness to your left shoulder blade. Exhale, subtly slide your left shoulder blade forwards. Keep pushing your hand and your elbow together. Even though you're doing this action, kind of pushing the hand and elbow together, don't shut down your breathing. Keep your breathing as big as you can. Have a sense of your breath connecting your hips and your shoulders. Okay, release your arms. We'll stay with the same leg position and come into like a twisting forward bend. So you might be able to cross both your arms over your right thigh, or it might feel better to have one hand either side of your right knee. Coming into a bit of a forward bend here. If your ribs feel like they're catching on your pelvis, inhale, lift your ribs up away from your pelvis. Exhale, twist to the side, come forwards. And bring your hands down onto your legs or the floor or wherever they land. Then relax your head. And keep breathing as fully as you can. Being aware of both your hips and your shoulders. Using your breath to help you wash away tension. Inhale and sit all the way up. Exhale and change your legs over. So you're either in a cross-legged position with your right leg in front, or right foot on a block, or right foot on your other knee. Have your both foot flexed for this, just so the legs are a little bit active. Great. So the thing we did here was unlocking the shoulders. So bring your right elbow up in front of your shoulder and then press your left hand against the inside of your right elbow. Inhale and notice your right shoulder blade. Exhale, subtly slide your right shoulder blade forwards. Keep up the resistance between your elbow and your hand. Okay. Inhale, telescope your ribs up, lift your rib cage. Exhale, rotate your ribs to the left. and then come into this forward bend, either with your hands either side of your left knee or both hands crossing over your left thigh. Inhale, filling up with air from your hips to your shoulders. Exhale, emptying your breath out as completely as you can in a slow way. Inhale and sit all the way up. Exhale, uncross your legs. And then rotate your ankles and rotate your wrists a few times. Just rotating them in every and any direction. And then have a wiggle of your hips and your shoulders here. Notice if you feel like you've kind of freed up any of the tension of the day. Okay, let's do two more things. I want to do a lying down twist, like a thoracic twist, to get a little bit more into the shoulders and chest. So if you lie on your side with your hands in front of you and your knees, so kind of knees bent in towards your chest a little bit. If your head feels uncomfortable here, put a cushion or blanket or something underneath your head so your neck is a bit supported. Because then we'll be taking one arm up and then letting it kind of twist over. Now, it's not just the arm that's moving. I could just move my arm. But if you look, I'm actually going to rotate my whole rib cage. My rib cage is moving. My head is just going to move in line with whatever's going on there. This is actually a little bit high for my head. So I'm going to use my cardigan instead. There we go, that's better. Okay, great. So it doesn't matter which way round you are. Take a deep breath in to begin with. And then on exhale, take your arm up. And remember to let your rib cage rotate as you do this. So the rib cage is going, so that's quite a lot of where this twist is coming from. And then when your hand kind of gets as far as it's going to go, it may or may not be on the floor. Take another deep breath in. And then on exhale, come back with your arm, your rib cages, your chest is rolling back towards the front. So do that a few more times. Next time your hands come together in front of you, then just set yourself up on the other side, roll over or move around, however makes most sense, so you can work the other way around. This time moving your arm however makes most sense to you, breath-wise. And then when your hands next join each other in front, then roll onto your back to do happy baby. So bring your knees in towards your chest and then either holding onto the backs of your thighs or holding onto your shins or holding onto your feet and having a good roll around. Going for like moving your legs, moving your hips, massaging your back on the floor. And then release your legs, bring your feet to the floor. And it's time to set yourself up to rest now. So however you would like to rest, kind of perhaps make your way into a lying on your back position or lying on your side or kind of whatever would be comfortable for you. Some people like lying with their legs up the wall. What would feel good to you? And then once you're comfortable, closing your eyes, take a couple of really big breaths, that sense of filling up from your hips, through your belly, through your ribs to the top of your shoulders, and then exhaling everything out, exhaling as completely as you can. Do that a couple more times. And then let your breath just go to its natural pattern. So without changing anything or doing anything different, without any effort, just letting your breath come and go and letting yourself drop into rest. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Just notice how your body feels resting here on the mat. And notice how you feel as you begin to move and stretch and wake up. Have a bit of a roll around and notice if you feel different after this hour of practice, if you've managed to unscrunch some of your shoulders or bring more awareness to your hips, or just kind of let go of the tension of the day. And then slowly can make your way back up to sitting, just kind of coming back to a normal state, coming back to enough wakefulness for the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me for this class today. My name's Claire from Inspiratrix Yoga, and very now and again I put classes onto YouTube, but more often I am teaching for my Inspiratrix Yoga members. So I teach 1 or 2 classes a week on Zoom, and I do teach in person in North Wales. But you can join the Zoom classes from anywhere in the world, and I also have a much bigger library of recordings that are accessible to people who are in my membership as well. If you fancy joining in on any of that, visit my website, which is inspiratrix.co.uk. You'll find details there of the membership, also of my yoga teacher training and any yoga workshops that I'm running this month. Goodbye for now.